Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today or tonight or tomorrow, whatever, wherever you are, I feel like doing a story time today. Well, this story is not really nothing new to people that already know me, obviously, but I'm sorry, I have a blanket, gotta get comfortable. One thing about that I've noticed about myself doing this channel, I always think I need to get on the camera and look just absolutely amazing, which is not too hard, but I feel like I need to just look absolutely like perfect, right? And the truth is, nobody's watching this shit. I'm gonna tell y'all a story about me, which I still think is pretty funny and probably the farthest I'll ever get in this system. But while I'm telling the story, right, I have my best friend here. Some of you may know her, some of you may not know her. I don't really show her much often, but this is her right here. She is absolutely amazing. Now, let this be a disclaimer. First of all, I'm not sponsored right now, so I'm not telling you to buy this. But one thing I am doing is telling you to buy it. People will look at this right now and be like, okay, she always drinks the same wine, the same brand. I honestly drink the same 3 brands of wine. And you want to know why? I don't like wine. But for some reason, the 3 that I drink, those are really good. Anything else, I'm not drinking it. But these, because I'm more of a hard liquor woman. Okay, so let's keep that in the clear first. I would never abandon tequila like that. But I do like a few wines. But this one right here, this one, if it would get in the camera, this one, it's slap. Now, another disclaimer, I don't drink wines less than 10%. So, this being 10.5 right now, this is really, just really, it's whatever. I got my glass, I got my wine, and I have me and my camera that I keep looking into the viewfinder because I'm messing up the video, but whatever. I'm gonna pour this and, we're gonna start talking about this story of mine. This story. 2 shots of vodka. Classic. It should be noted that, well, I probably won't do it, because I'll be telling the story. I'll be too busy talking. But one thing I will do is drink a whole bottle of wine in one night. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who can attest to that, who can do that as well with me, alongside me. So I suggest, if you do drink wine, drink it up. Before I start the story, I gotta take 1 sip. So this is my encounter. This is the day or consecutive days of when I was almost arrested. I'm not really a troublemaker, so this was honestly this was an interesting situation, and it was pretty illegal. In 2017, I used to work at Steak and Shake. I was a server. I was, if you didn't know, Steak and Shake, they serve food on the inside if you ever happen to go inside of a Steak and Shake. So I was serving, and I was a damn good server. Hence, I am a damn good server, right? I just hate people. I was working at Steak and Shake, and I I recently quit because this was a summer job that my ex-boyfriend's mother had got me. Bless her heart, really do love her. She got me that job, and I didn't stay there for much longer because just straight up quitted because my mom did not want me to drive her car anymore. Because if you also know me, you know that I do have a lot of how should I put it, car trouble. Not in the sense of my car breaks down a lot or anything like that. I can drive, but the people around me don't know how to drive. Let's just go with that. Yeah, I'm really like Fast and Furious. Like I'm really fine. One day after work, I was driving, and my job was next to a Sonic, and one thing I like is Sonic slushies. And I always get the blue raspberry one, and them shits slap. So I would get off of work and then I'll go across the street to Sonic and get a slushie and then go home, especially when the weather was like really hot, and like it made sense. It made sense. So one day I had went over there, and the area that I worked at was so like always busy, like all the time. I'm talking about traffic back and forth all the time. So I was in the parking lot of this isn't even the story I'm supposed to be telling. But anyways, the parking lot, I got into a minor accident with somebody who truly tried to finesse, and she just wanted me to fix her car. Whatever. I didn't get it. Nothing happened because that was on private property, as Sonic was a private property. But anyways, that is what caused me to quit my job and not be able to drive my mom's car. I didn't have a car at the time. Then after I quit, before I went back to school, I was like, I gotta get my last check. My mom was like, you're not driving my car anymore. Quit your job. It's over. You're not driving. So I had to get my good friend Kari to take me to pick up my last check. So we go, he gets me, he takes me to Steak and Shake, pick up my last check. You know, I'm just living my best life. Cause I used to be making money and I didn't have no bills. I had just bought myself a new iPhone. I was really like living it up. And like we're in the car and I looked at the date and I was like, dang. I was like, I feel like it's something important today, but it's like, whatever. Like, and Dakari says something about law enforcement or cops or police or something. I can't really remember, but then it clicked in my brain. I had a court date that I was supposed to be at yesterday. So I'm in the car and I'm just keying it up. I'm going to sign, I'm doing whatever. I'm supposed to be in court. Now, what I'm supposed to be in court for, it was like a traffic. I think I got a ticket for speeding. Yeah, I want to say that's what it was. Got a ticket on Thanksgiving, but it wasn't really speeding because I was just regularly driving. But it was Thanksgiving. I was like 2 seconds away from my house. I got pulled over and he asked me, why are you speeding? And I was like, because I'm ready to go home. Like, why the else would I be speeding? Come on now, bro, come on. So I had my 2 dogs in the car. They were doing too much. And I was like, nah, I need to hurry up and get home because I need to get home. I don't need them in the car with me. So I'm like, officer, I'm trying to get my dogs home, and like, I'm not really trying to drive with them in the car. So of course my dogs do not know who this man is, but they're little like babies. Like, they don't know who this man is though. So they're like barking and growling, and it was making it worse because then he started getting even angrier at me. And I'm like, you pulled me over. We wouldn't have this problem if you didn't pull me over. So he's like, and your dogs are barking. I'm like, yeah, duh. That's why I was speeding. Anyways, long story short, he gave me a ticket. And he was like, yeah, you got to go to court, like, off rip. And I think he was just mad at that point. Like, who wouldn't be mad that they're out doing nothing on Thanksgiving when they should be with their families? Gotta take a sip on that one. I went to court for it, and the first time when I had just got the ticket, I had went, my mom and my dad went with me. And because my dad, he's supposed to be like some super court lawyer, so he's supposed to know what's like to say to get me out or whatever. So we're going through the whole process, and I forgot what it's called, but the person, like, you know, the judge kind of low-key don't do nothing, but he kind of do. But the people who make like the big decisions went back there to go see them. You'll know who I'm talking about if you've ever been in like traffic court or anything. So we go back there and talk to her. It was a lady. She was like real mean, kind of. She was like, what do you like do, basically? And I'm like, I'm in school. And so she's like, oh, you're in school? And then she's like, so you don't have any money to pay for this ticket? Because she was like, you don't have a job, you're in school, whatever. And I'm like, hold on, lady. Okay. She's like, pull up your grades. So I pull up my grades, and she's like, hey, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, you're getting these grades. My grades weren't even that bad, by the way. And that wasn't that bad. But she's like, what the is this? Your grades are and you're out here speeding and accruing tickets that your parents have to pay for because you don't have a job because you're in school. So I'm like, I thought I was just back here to pay for the ticket. So she's like, you know what? I'm gonna do you one even better. Because honestly, I was just gonna pay it and go. She said, I'm gonna do one even better. You go back to school. You need to come back, and this is a spring semester I'm about to go to. She's like, after this spring semester, you need to come back with all A's or a B average or anything above a B, no C's or nothing. She said, if you come back with anything less than that,
I'm arresting you. You're going to jail. You gotta pay for all of this, whatever.
And so I'm like, well, wait a second. Like, it was just a little speed here and there. But she's like, I'm arresting you off rip. And she said, if you do come back, you don't have to worry about the ticket. You don't have to worry about nothing. I'm wiping this clean off your record, and that's it. And then on top of that, you have to take like driver's ed or whatever. So come back with driver's ed, safety class, whatever, and good grades. And it's like, this never happened. And so I'm like, she just said she's gonna arrest me. So we're leaving, and I'm telling my mom and my dad, and they're like, and I'm like, she can't really arrest me for, you know, getting not having good grades, right? Because college is hard. Despite what anybody says, college is hard. So they're like, yeah, so you better get it together. And they were too calm about it. So I don't know if they had faith in me already, or they were just like, fuck it, she's going to jail. Because they said that bitch cannot do nothing good in class. Like, she's going to jail. So I'm like, man, I wasn't really stunned at first, but I was like, dang, she really just said she's gonna arrest me if I get bad grades. Fast forward past the semester, came back home. This is when I started working at Steak and Shake. Spring semester was over. It's summer, whatever. I got my good grades and I took my class. So I was really like my motivation was obviously me going to jail, and I'm so surprised that I kept it up that long. But I came back, my grades was in tip top shape. I took that class. I cheated my way through, of course, because you know you just take the picture of it and then you do it online, whatever. So I did what I had to do to stay out of jail, and that's that on that. But wait, there's more. So I came back with my grades. Like I said, I was working at Steak and Shake. I was just really living it up, right? I forgot, because you know I had to go back and show the grades and do all of that. My dumb ass forgot my court date. So you don't show up to court, it's a whole other issue now. Because I had everything I needed. It's just I didn't show up. So fast forward to me and my friend in the car, and I'm like, oh my freaking gosh, I had a court date yesterday. So I call up the court. I texted my dad and my mom, and I'm like, yo, this and this happened. So I called up the court, and I was like, hey, like, so I had a court date yesterday, and I'm being real casual about it, like it was a doctor's appointment or some bullshit. So I'm like, hey, I had a court date yesterday, and I missed it. I forgot, complete misunderstanding. Can we go ahead and get that rescheduled so I can just hand off my papers and we can just water under the bridge? Am I right? She said, no, you're going to jail. She said, you are going to jail. The warrant is already out because, yeah, she said it's already out for X amount of money. You have to pay that because, you is failure to show up to court. So I'm like, hold on. I just got my last check. I'm like, hold on. I don't have a job anymore. So this is money that I don't, I can't, it's not, where is it coming from? Right? Like, where is this coming from? So I hang up the phone, I call my dad, and he's like, yeah, he said, he's like, at this point, it's really just, you're going to jail. So I'm like, oh nah, jail is not for me, jail is not for Brianna, like, I'm not going to jail. And my friend is just like, so like, what's going on? Like, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So my dad was like, off rip. He said, you need to go home. Don't open no doors, don't open no windows, close all blinds, everything. Because I think it was coming up on the weekend, and all I needed to do was pay the bail so that they wouldn't take me to jail. Pay the bail so they wouldn't take me to jail. Pay the bail so they wouldn't take me to jail. So all I had to do was pay that. I think I did have the money. I just needed to pay it. The weekend was coming up. I wasn't able to pay it at the time. So my dad was like, go home, do not do nothing, like stay in the house. Because they'll come looking for you. Do not answer the door, do not do nothing. So I'm like, okay. So I get home, I'm chilling. First day, nobody came, right? Then my brother gets home because he was out like by his friend's house or whatever. Hope y'all are sipping with me. I'm like, hey, like, because my brother's maybe like, he's like a year and a half and some change younger than me. So I'm like, hey, I'm just letting you know right now, if the cops get here, if the cops like knock on the door or anything, tell them I'm not home, ask for a warrant, blah, 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 blah. I had to be like 18, 19 years old. And that means he was like 17 maybe. So I'm like, hey, yeah, on some CSI if they come, some law and order ask for a warrant. So he's like, okay. So I'm like, I'm not playing, like I'm for real. And he's like with the shits. So I'm like, this might be a criminal. But I'm like, hey, whatever works, just don't let him know I'm here. So he's like, okay. So, second day, me and my brother is chilling. I'm talking about, we done completely forgot that I was, I was a fugitive at that point, because it's kind of like they're looking for me. Like I have a warrant out for my arrest. If somebody finds me, they're taking me to jail. So I'm talking about windows open, me and my brother blasting music. I don't even know what my parents was. I'm talking about we just doing what the ever. Like we're just loud, belligerent, just anything, playing video games, windows wide open, everything. And I don't know why. And so I don't even remember which day it was at this point. The doorbell rings. I'm like, huh. I was like, I think I just heard the doorbell. Go downstairs. I'm walking downstairs and getting ready to open the door, and I'm like, oh shit. So I back up on the steps and I knocked on my brother's door and I said, hey, I think the doorbell just rang. So he's like, well, who is it? I was like, I don't know. So I look out of my window because both me and my brother's window can see out to the driveway. And I'm looking and I'm like, I don't see no cars. Like maybe it's like a Jehovah's Witness type deal going on. And I'm like, there's no like cars out here. So I'm like, nah. I said, you answer the door. So he's like, okay. So he's looking at the door. Like he opens the door and it's like somebody talking. So he's just like, it's a deep voice. He's like, does Brianna Ruff live here? And so he's like, yeah. And then he's like, well, is she here right now? Because we're looking for her. She has a warrant out for her arrest, blah, 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 blah. He's like, I don't know. I just got home from my friend's house. I haven't seen my sister in a few days. And so they're like, are you sure? Because, you know, we're looking for her, you know, we gotta take her. And he's like, yeah, like, no, I don't know where she's at. I haven't seen her in a few days. Like I said, I just got back. So they're like, okay, do you mind if we search? Because I'm hearing the whole conversation. And he's like, do you have a warrant? And they said, oh, well, we don't, they're just like, oh, we don't have one now, but you know, we can come back on Monday with one, whatever. And so he's like, well, yeah, do that. You can come back, you can search. Like, I don't know if that's word for word, but you know, in my brain, that's what he said. So they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I'm like, y'all, that's flawed because there's no cars outside. So y'all really think y'all slick, but I'm slicker. I'm the slickest. So they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna come back, whatever, boom, boom, boom. They leave. Keep in mind, whole time I'm under the bed. I'm hiding. Cause I'm like, what if they do have a warrant? Like, there would be no reason for them to have a warrant. But if they did, like, I needed to hide somewhere. I was planning on jumping out of a window or something. And my brother closes the door finally, and he comes upstairs. He waits a little bit. And then I'm asking him, like, yo, like, how many cops was it? Whatever. So he's like, only one came to the door. And then, like, mid-conversation with the one cop, another one came from, like, the back. Where, like, so even if I was to jump out of the back window, would have been there waiting for me, like, hello? So I was like, damn, that's trifling. And I don't even know if there was any more. But anyways, I was like, damn, they really could have got us. But my brother, he was with the shit. He was with it. He was with it for real. And I respect him for that. So waited a few minutes. I was peeking out the window a little bit because I was like, where are their cars at? Like, I wonder if they're gonna stake out or something like that. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, all of this over me missing court, like, they really acted like I was some kind of fusion. I just escaped jail or something. Like, bro, back up. It's okay. I think it may have been like Saturday or something. I can't even remember what day it was, but still some day that I couldn't go and pay the bill. So as soon as I finished and they left and I waited a few more minutes, I was like still ducking and hiding. I said, let me call my best friend. So I call her up and I'm like, hey, well, she lives where I used to live. So I'm like, they wouldn't go, well, it was really a bad plan because that's still one of my addresses. My dad lives there. So they probably could have went there looking for me, but it was still a good distance, and they don't know I have no affiliation with her, whatever. So I was like, hey, I can't stay here no more, just in case they come back and like they're looking for me. So I need to stay by you for a day or so, because they're gonna catch me, and because if they come back with a warrant, it's over with. So she's like, yeah, that's no problem. I pack a little bag, I hop in the car, but when I'm walking outside, like I waited until it was like dark. Like I waited, and then I was like, all right, I could go. And I went over there, I stayed there for a day, and then I left and I went to go pay the bail. I showed up to pay my own bail. That doesn't sound correct, because you know I should be in jail for somebody else to pay the bail, but I paid it. I said, yeah, here you go. Because I was really scared walking in there, because I thought they was just gonna say, nah, bitch, you ain't paying and arrest me. But you know, I paid it, and then I had a new court date. So waited for the new court date, showed up, I had my grades, and I had my certificate of completion for my driver's safety course class, whatever. I get up there, the judge is like, yes, you were supposed to, you know, get your grades, blah, blah, blah. Let's see it. I bring it up to the stand, and he's like, okay, grades are good. And then he's like, we don't accept online driver's ed. And I said, now hold on, bitch. You're gonna accept it today, because you had never told me that. So he's like, I'm sorry, I'm like, no. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Because I did everything. I literally went through all of this. And he's like, you know what? You can have it. Like, you did it. I'm gonna just mark it. Ain't no telling how much he does that. But he was like, you know what? You got it. So I'm like, well, thank you. So there you have it. Everything's wiped out. Everything's done. And I'm not arrested. And that was such a long process. And I was just like, dog, just for like 20 miles over the speed, like that is extra. But being as my camera's about to die, I hope y'all enjoyed this story. Subscribe, like, comment, all of that stuff. And you know, thank you for watching. Sorry I've been so MIA, but I felt like I just wanted to do this little story time real quick, because I think it's still a funny story. But thanks, and I'll see y'all later.